Well then, good evening everybody, welcome back to the One Hub Precision Tier. This is season number 13 and round number 3, which takes us to the Sakhir circuit in Bahrain for the Bahrain Grand Prix. My name is Kieran McGinley and joining me in the commentary box is Luke Etheridge. Luke, how are you tonight?
I'm very well, Kieran. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Well, let's just say a lot's happened since the last time around at the United States Grand Prix. If you did miss that, go and have a look, as Liam has already retired from the qualifying session. A lot of penalties to be having a look at, so we'll start with those first of all, as we see this is Jaw leaving the pit lane. Oh no, it's Victor leaving the pit lane, the number 4 Haas. So first of all, first incident between Asahina, Jorrit, Lawrence and Scorpion. That's all on lap number 1. Asahina has a qualifying ban for this race, so he will not be able to leave the pit lane whatsoever. As we see there, Victor now making his way towards turn 4. That was decided by the stewards. The stewards also decided to add a 10-second time penalty in another incident to Victor's race time last time out, involving him and Asahina. Chris was disqualified from round 2 altogether, and he has to serve a qualifying ban for this round, so he will also be stuck in the pit lane. There was another incident between Scorpion and Thompson, where a 10-second time penalty was added to Thompson's race time in Austin, and another incident between Victor and Nika, which was deemed a racing incident. So quite a few penalties were handed out, Luke, and 2 qualifying bans that need to be served here. How do Asahina and Chris look forward to the Bahrain Grand Prix if they're starting from pretty much what will be the back?
I think they've got to firstly avoid any first lap trouble. That is what Asahina got all his penalties for last time out. Just try and take it nice and steady for the first few laps. Maybe if there's a safety car like there was in Austin, you can try something a bit different on the strategy. Perhaps go a bit longer in your first stint if there isn't. Just try and work your way up the field carefully. You can't panic that you're at the back. Just got to first few laps, and Bahrain is a circuit where you can definitely overtake. It's not as bad as if it had happened at some other circuits, perhaps.
Circuits that shall not be named, I reckon. Here is Victor now heading all the way up towards turn 4, and some of the wide turnings here, this long right-hander here really tests the rear of the car, and if you've not got the ballast set up right, it can really punish you as we head now through 5, 6 and 7 down the hill towards turn 8. This tight right-hander all the way now towards turns 9 and 10. The braking zone for turn 10 is tricky. It even caught 7-time world champion Michael Schumacher out when he was racing in the Mercedes vehicle. That went straight on. You've now got the DRS straight heading down towards turn 11. Good opportunity here to try and go side by side, but the DRS zone itself is quite short, so you're going to have a tough time trying to get past someone. Uphill now through turn 12 on this right-hander here. Be careful of taking that curve on the right-hand side. Very easy to unsettle the car and spin it around completely. Heading through 13 here. Lots of drivers use that curve on the left-hand side as they're sort of widening of the exit there. As we now head down towards the supposed double right-hander of 14 and 15 here. Watch the traction there and watch the curve on the inside as we now head with Victor into the DRS zone towards the start-finish line, and Victor there sets a 127.2, which puts him up to 6th place. So with the first laps being done and dusted, Lawrence currently sits on pole position. Westy is in second, 126.7, with TK rounding out the top 3.
Yeah, Scorpion last place, 136. Must have made a mistake or slowed down, making sure that if he's in the top 10 he doesn't want to start maybe on those tyres that he's on now. Perhaps he might choose to start on the softs, go for a bit of a longer stint. We will wait and see. There's quite a bit of support in the chat for Nika in the Williams. Did well last time out with his getting his first points of the season, so he'll be hoping to carry that on today.
Yeah, absolutely, and let us know who you're flying the flag for today. Nika here, 24 points at the moment. He sits in 4th place in the standings. Those standings for you: Westy is leading the championship on 43 points, Jorrit in 2nd on 29, White Fountain in 3rd on 26. Then our race premium members, we've got Chris there in 6th on 15, tied with Jewel in 7th there. Lawrence is in 9th on 8 points, Luki 11th on 4 points, TK in 12th on 3 points, Asahina and Pete are yet to score any points this season, and for Asahina here, this qualifying ban will not help him whatsoever.
No, hopefully Pete's got his connection issues sorted out from last week as well. He was looking good at various points, just disconnected a few times from the lobby, and I think that contributed to some of the incidents that he had. So hopefully it all goes well for him, because he was showing good pace in qualifying last time out in Austin, but unfortunately wasn't to be in the race for him.
Well, Pete then coming through turn 13, and is this him using his T-bait here, using Nicker's slipstream down towards turn 14 and 15? Oh, that might do. He's used up all the ERS he can, and he goes from 9th place, 1:27.1, which is 2/10. There you go, 2/10 faster than his teammate. So that slipstream did make some difference there.
Yeah, if I was Nick, I'd be making sure that Pete is aware of the fact that that gained him an extra couple of attempts, and be hoping that he repays the favour later on. We saw Ferrari get that slipstreaming a bit wrong in Monza last year. Some may say that's part of the reason Vettel didn't win the championship. Looking at some of the main title contenders, it's extremely early to go on about that, but it is a short season, of course, being only 8 races. There's only 5 thousandths between Jovic and Westy in 3rd and 4th in the moment, and Westy was our driver of the day last time out, and you'd have to say he deserved it. Just did a fantastic job controlling the race at the front, didn't panic when he was overtaken around the safety car period, just kept it nice and cool when so many others lost their head.
Well, we've got, I believe this is a new driver in the Force India. This is Niels, who is in for Coleman in the Force India, so he'll be scoring some points for Force India tonight, at least he'll hope. It's a 19-car grid though, so it's a fantastic turnout for tonight, Luke, and it means those point scoring positions are even harder to come by.
Yeah, one team who hasn't found it hard to come by so far for points is Red Bull, the new joint Constructors' Championship, with all the results from all 4 tiers. Red Bull currently have a 91 point lead over Haas, so on 185 points, so nearly double their nearest rivals. It's early stages, but you've got to say Red Bull looking really good for the Constructors, and Scorpion and White Fountain have definitely shown pace so far this season that you wouldn't be surprised if they help their team extend that lead tonight.
Well, of course, remember the Constructors' Championship is cumulative, and it's collected through all tiers, so all 8 drivers for the team have to do well to get you a chance of winning the Constructors. And at the moment, as you say, Red Bull here look like they've chosen the best drivers out of each tier, because they are running away with the Constructors' Championship. As you say, it's only round 3 and they've already got a 91 point lead, so it just shows you how maybe other teams are struggling whilst Red Bull are keeping their head above the clouds here, and they've got to take advantage of this momentum whilst it still can and last. The White Fountain hasn't set a lap time yet, and he'll be going out onto a set of super soft tyres as he looks to light up the rear tyres and get some heat into them. Of course, remember, we have our mandatory 2-stop race here tonight, and we've also got the super softs, the softs and the medium tyres available for the drivers. So mandatory 2-stop then, you're looking at possibly 1 super soft stint and then 2 soft tyre stints.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprising maybe to see if a few drivers who think they could be outside the top 10 start on the soft tyres where they're fresh and try and do super soft to the end. But if there's a safety car like last time out in Austin, that will change everything. We saw Victor start on the hardest set of tyres in Austin on the mediums, try to last a bit longer after the safety car, but that didn't work out. I can't imagine rain is going to be a factor tonight. It does occasionally rain in Bahrain in the desert, they do get it every now and then. F1 seems to attract strange weather conditions, so you never know if a bit of rain will change everything. And there was a clarification with the rules. If there is a safety car period that lasts longer than 2 laps, there is nothing stopping you pitting under the safety car twice, and that won't count as your 2 pit stops under racing conditions.
As you're just saying that, White Fountain getting it all wrong out of turn 3 there, just a heavy right foot and a whack around the car went. So even though these cars are probably the heaviest cars we've ever seen on a Formula 1 grid, it's still quite easy to light up those rear tyres and spin the car around. And of course, with that weight transfer, it's even more difficult that once your car gets into a spin, it is that much more difficult to keep it in that straight line and make sure it doesn't spin around.
Yeah, we're seeing Stanley, he's at the side of the track there. It's the instantaneous torque you get now from the hybrid systems. You haven't got the, as we always imagine with turbo-powered cars, especially in the 80s, in the first F1 turbo generation, you haven't got that turbo lag anymore. You've got all the power, all the torque coming to the wheel straight away. If you're not ready for it, you are going around. And as you said, you've got the weight transfer and the inertia of the car. There's so much more energy involved than there used to be. Unless you're supremely talented and a tiny bit lucky, you are not stopping these cars going round on you.
6 minutes and 35 seconds to go. Westy still on pole position, 126.3, as Scorpion there does go third and puts a commanding Red Bull on the second row of the grid right now. We've got Lukey there in 4th place there. Mate comes into the pits, currently in 5th place. Jorrit there is in 6th place in the Mercedes. You've got the McLarens of Jor and TK in 7th and 8th. You've got Thompson there in 9th place for the Toro Rosso. Victor and Scanny 10th and 11th. Nick in 12th with Pete, who's retired from the session. He's in 13th place. Nika 14th. Niels is 128.4, but he set his best lap time on a set of medium tyres. He's actually still out there on those medium tyres, so obviously there is a super soft run still to go. 128.4, which puts him 1.1 seconds behind Nika, and that's around about the gap we're expecting between the mediums and the super soft. Maybe 1.3, but at the moment Niels has got to find a little bit more time out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure medium's the best strategy to go on. It is his first race we've seen it this season, so we haven't seen anyone forget the 2-stop rule yet. To forgo the entire season without someone forgetting it at one race, and it is of course an instant disqualification. But White Fountain, the only other 3 that haven't. Liam we saw crash out early on, and Chris and Asahina have the qualifying bans of course, so a lot of pressure on White Fountain. It'll be interesting to see whether he goes all out for it or just leaves a bit in the bag to ensure he does set some sort of representative qualifying time.
Oh, here's an interesting thing. Asahina actually set, well, he went out for a lap, didn't actually complete the lap, didn't complete his out lap, but he went out onto the circuit. Now I wonder if the stewards will have a closer look at that. To me, a qualifying ban is not leaving the garage whatsoever, but Asahina's clearly gone for an excursion. Is it just a cycle lap, just maybe an installation lap, but will the stewards feel that that's a qualifying ban served?
I have seen a few drivers do it before just to try and lock their setups in, but don't really see the point of doing that, to be honest. But we'll have to wait and see. He is still showing us behind Chris at the moment, but if the stewards have picked up on that, you'll be interested to see whether they see that as a qualifying ban. Like you said, I'd imagine a qualifying ban being sitting in the pits for 18 minutes twiddling your thumbs where you get to see everyone else going around.
Here's Victor then coming around turn 13. As we now go down towards turn 14, warming up those super soft tyres as much as we possibly can. And of course we do have the mandatory 2-stop race, which has thrown quite a few spanners into the works in the first 2 races alone, as Victor now makes his way towards the start finish line, DRS wide open. And let's see what he can do then. Let's ride on board with the Haas then as he makes his way down towards turn 1. Turn 1, a huge overtaking opportunity, braking just before the 100-metre board, and it's a very tight right-handed all the way down to 78 kph as we make our way through turns 2 and 3. Watching those curves there very easily can unsettle the car, especially on worn tyres. Making our way now towards turn 4. It's a narrow entry and then it widens on the exit. Be careful of using that sand and the tarmac on the left-hand side. Can easily unsettle the car. Easy to carry too much speed through 5, 6 and 7 as we now make our way down towards the braking zone of turn 8. Again, another overtaking opportunity, but really you have to be side by side with the car in front. As we make our way now towards turn 9, very easy to lock the brakes here as you brake towards turn 10. Almost have to do a bit of trail braking. Watch the traction wheels at turn 10 as you make your way now towards turn 11. Short DRS run towards the braking zone here. Not really an overtaking opportunity. Just going to get your line right through turn 11. Be careful not to overcommit. Be careful of that curve on the outside. Again, it can unsettle the car. Then the curve on the inside as we head through turn 12. Again, can unsettle the car. Now turn 13. Use the curve as much as you like there. And Victor goes back with 2 bites of the curve on the outside as we make our way now down towards turns 14 and 15. Arguably 2 corners, arguably 1 corner, whatever you're taking it. It's turns 14 and 15 on my map, so that's what we're calling it. Victor then making his way into the DRS zone and towards the start-finish line to 126.825, improves by 900ths of a second, and that has that put him ahead of Scani into the top 10?
I think he was just ahead before. He's only 5 thousandths off of Thompson, but he won't have time to go round and get another lap in, so that is qualifying pretty much over for Victor. Just as we were going on that lap, I was on board with Scorpion, and there seemed to be a queue of cars coming out of the pit lane. They've all spread out now as they try and find space. They're pretty much only going to have one lap, and it might, as so often is in F1 qualifying, be the last car over the line has the advantage.
Well, a minute and 20 to go, and so much has happened, Luke, so much to talk about. We haven't actually had a chance to see any of the driver interviews, and we do apologise for that, as we see a McLaren on the right-hand side of your screen there, just making everyone go through. And it's very risky here, doing that sort of thing, because you could see a Max Verstappen a la China 2019 incident, where, okay, it's a gentleman's agreement that you don't overtake through the final sector, but there's nothing in the rulebook saying that you can't. There you see the two Red Bulls very close together. Will they want that? Will Scorpion want that? He'll have sort of the toe as we head towards turn 1, but look at this now, he's backing right off and trying to let White Fountain have a bit of a clear track up ahead of him. What's important to note though is that Chris and Asahina on their qualifying bands will be starting 18th and 19th, so sometimes if you don't set a lap time, if you don't set anything at all, you start behind the drivers with a qualifying band. Let's have a look at Scani here, because he has set his lap time. Victor now retires from the session, realises he hasn't got enough time to get another qualifying lap in. He'll be one of the first to set a new lap time. He was on a flying lap before, but here we go then with Scani as he makes his way down towards turns 11, 12, and then the braking zone of turn 13. Up the hill he goes. He's got to be careful on that curb there. The wrong kind of setup, the wrong sort of tyre wear, and the wrong amount of fuel can send that car spinning around. Heading through turn 13, using all of that curb on the left hand side. You really can use it there. On the run down towards turn 14, where can the Force India get himself? Force India here, 9th in the constructor standings, 47 points across all 4 tiers before the season's races started today, as Scani weaving left and right very quickly. 4 tenths down, and he'll start outside of the top 10. Westy, meanwhile, pole position at the moment. Lawrence improves by 600ths of a second. It's not enough though, and he'll be starting at the moment from 2nd place. There's White Fountain, who's now coming down towards the final corner, and you can just see a glimpse of the driver's eyes there as they break towards 14 and 15. White Fountain making his way now towards the line. It's his one and only out lap. What can he do? And it's 8th place for White Fountain. How about Scorpion? He doesn't improve at all. Jorrit then up to 3rd place, up onto the 2nd row of the grid. Here comes Lukey then, making his way now towards the line in the Ferrari, and it's 4th place for the Ferrari driver. How about TK then? Where is he out on track? Coming through the final corner, making his way now towards the start-finish line. As you see one of the helicopters flying over. TK can't improve his position. He does improve by 100th of a second. Here's Nick G making his way towards the line in the Mercedes. It looks like he's backed off though, so won't be any improvement for him. Nika 14th as he's run out of fuel. So then, qualifying over for the Bahrain Grand Prix, Westy in the Haas is on pole position, and it looks like he's in pole position to try and extend his gap at the top. 43 points from the first 2 races. It's a race win and 2nd place. Can he make that? 3 consecutive podiums in these 3 races. Gap between him and Jorrit is 14 points. Lawrence, meanwhile, in 2nd place there, coming in 9th place in the championship with 8 points. Can a podium revitalise his chances at trying to get one of those top spaces there? But an interesting qualifying session then. Every single driver trying that super soft run in qualifying. It is Westy who has finished the session on top.
Yeah, I'm delighted with that. Every single race so far, the two that we've had in Brazil and Austin, whoever's been on pole has got the win. Good job by Lawrence as well, but Jorrit will be feeling pretty good. He'll be directly behind Westy on the grid. He'll be hoping for a chance to get a car into turn 1, and we have seen quite a few incidents here over the years into turn 1. Quite a heavy braking zone. Wouldn't be surprising to see at least one car facing the wrong direction.
on pole position. Lawrence in second. Gap between him and pole, 0.046. Jorrit in third. Gap to pole, 0.048. That is how close it was. Literally a blink of an eye covers the top three. It's Lukey in fourth, Thompson fifth, Scorpion in sixth, Mata in seventh, White Fountain in eighth, Jor ninth, and TK rounds out the top 10. Then it's Victor in 11th, Scanny 12th, Nick G 13th, Nika 14th. Pete is in 15th, Niels in 16th, Liam did not set a time in that qualifying session, and Chris and Asahina with their qualifying vans did not set a time at all. They will be starting from 18th and 19th place. So of course the top 10 have to start on the tyre they qualified on. The rest of them though can choose any tyre they like. A brand new fresh set of tyres here for the first night race of the season, and I believe as I look at the calendar, probably the only night race. Is that right? I'm trying to think now.
Yeah.
So it's
I said
lovely...
that with conviction.
Yeah, you did. You did. We
yeah.
Don't no idea if that's right, but yeah, Luke said yes, so it is.
We'll go with that. I mean, you never. It could be dark enough at Silverstone that you think it's a night race for our final race of the season. British weather could show up again.
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen. The dark clouds with rain normally lurk over Silverstone, but there we go. 19 drivers will start this race, but who will come out on top? Let us know down in the comments in that stream chat. Let us know who you're supporting, who are the flags flying for tonight, and maybe who do you think is going to win the race? Can Westy extend his lead at the top of the table? Can Jorrit find a way back in that Mercedes? White Fountain has been doing a good job this season so far, 26 points, only 3 points behind Jorrit. And for Jorrit, it's been a hot race and then a cold race. It's safe to say he'll need a hot race to get right back on form.
I think he'll be fired up after last week in Austin. He didn't have a great start, was involved in the Ashahina incident through the S's that pretty much ruined his race. The one thing we've been missing from this season is a battle for the win, and we could hopefully see a Hamilton-Rosberg 2014 repeat here. Probably the most famous battle we've ever seen in Bahrain.
Well, lots of you supported Nika tonight. He starts down in P14, but I haven't actually seen any support for any other driver, so you better all be... If this was fan boost, Luke, I think Nika would have at least 1,000 more horsepower than any other car on track.
If this was fan boost, how would you decide who gets the second and third ones?
Like, I mean, there isn't. You just give them all to Nika at the moment.
You just give them all to Nika. Yeah. Loads of fan boost.
Take all the fan boost, Nika. No one's voting for anybody else. But yes, he is starting at the Williams down in 14th place. There we go. We have PWD Racing. He says, big up Westy. He starts on pole position. There you go. Someone who gets to share the fan boost. He'll be leading the cars down towards turn 1 as we head for the Bahrain Grand Prix. 29 laps around the Sakhir circuit. And if you remember back in 2010, they tried the longer version of this track. And that's now used for the endurance. It's split off at turn 4. And if we've all played that game all those years ago, you'll remember how tight those curbs were. They've been flattened since then. Well, at least we hope so, in 8 years, as they will now make their way up towards turn 4. Of course, it's a fantastic track for overtaking. DRS zones down towards turn 1 and turn 4 give good opportunities for drivers to get alongside the car ahead. Expect turns 5, 6 and 7 to be a little bit leery here on the first couple of laps. Cars trying to go side by side, trying to fight for position. Expect that to be very crowded and expect other drivers to think, you know what, it's lap 1. Let us go side by side. By the sort of lap 4, lap 5, expect that to go down to single file. Turn 10 here, very easy for drivers to lock up, especially if they're pushing hard. Expect at least one driver to get caught out by that trail braking zone of turn 10. And then we head towards turn 11. It's a left-hander, then it goes uphill. And of course those curbs there are ready to claim the car of at least a couple of cars today, as we see them now going through turn 12. Again, that curb on the right hand side, that raised curb, if you get on it the wrong way, it can really spit you out and spin the car around. Turn 13 then, that outside curb, the stewards in the game at least seem to be a little bit lenient on that curb. You could use it a little bit more than maybe you could in qualifying for the race, as they now head down towards the double right-hander of turns 14 and 15. Not really an overtaking zone, but it is a fantastic opportunity to try and get that DRS on the car ahead. As the cars make their way now back towards the grid, One Hub Racing is sponsored by Next Level Racing. You can follow them on Twitter. They are at NextLVL Racing. And yes, make sure you visit them, and you can also get 10% off your order as well. Luke, what's the code?
The code is 1Hub10.
There you go. I didn't want to steal the whole mic for this formation lap, but as we make our way now towards the Bahrain Grand Prix, we're moments away here in Sakhir for round 3 of the One Hub Precision Tier. Thank you very much for joining us. Luke and I will be able to guide you through this race then, as we wait now, riding on board with Westy, looking at those lights. The tension rises for the championship leader. Can he get another good result as we head towards the starting sequence any time now? We're waiting for those last cars to get onto the back of the grid, and here we go then for the Bahrain Grand Prix as we wait now for the lights to come on. Here we go then for the race here in Sakhir. It's 5 red lights. Round 3 is underway, and what the start's like. Fantastic start from Westy. Lawrence gets bogged down from the start. You can see there Lukey pulling to the left-hand side of your TV screen as we head now down towards turn 1. Watch out for Scorpion there, who's looking to try and make it 3 wide as we head through turn 1 for the first time. Now heading through turn 2, you can see there Thompson has to back out there. Lukey managing to hold on there as we see now the cars making their way. There's a bit of debris in the background, lots of debris there. That looks like a brake marker board. That's Niels there, I think, was involved, as well as Scanny. At least one of the Force Indias was involved in an incident there, as we now see the Toro Rossos of Thompson and Mata now making their way through turn 6 and now down through turn 7. You can see there Lukey trying to take advantage of Scorpion, trying to now go round the outside at turn 8. Nothing doing there, but it looks to try and get the cut back on. Meanwhile then, White Fountain has pretty much held position. He's there in 8th place as Lukey there running a little bit off there at turn 10. I'm sure he's the first and not the last to be caught out by that one, as Pete suffers internet connections once again. He leaves this session as Scorpion there is trying now to defend from Lukey as we head now through turn 11. He's done a successful job this time around. Meanwhile then, Jaw is trying to chase down Victor. There's White Fountain, you can see, just trying to make use of all the track, and Mata ahead of him, getting all a little bit wrong and out of shape out of turn 11. Chris, meanwhile, is up to 11th place. It's a fantastic start from the Ferrari driver, and he'll be hoping to keep a little bit more of his cool then as we head towards the latter stages of this race then. As they head round the final corner then, Westy is going to lead the race. Jorrit in 2nd, Lawrence 3rd, Scorpion 4th, Lukey 5th, Thompson 6th, Mata 7th, White Fountain 8th, Victor 9th, Jaw 10th, Chris in 11th, TK 12th, Nika 13th, Nick G 14th, Liam in 15th, Pete in 16th, Nielsen 17th, Scanny 18th, and Asahina is running in 19th place. All 19 runners that started this race are still in this race at the moment.
Yeah, great start from Chris, up 7 places. He's got the super soft tyres on. He's going to try and make the most of them fresh tyres in the early laps. Interesting how most of the soft tyre runners have dropped towards the back. Pete and being the opposite exception with his super soft with the disconnect, but Vix has done well to get up to 9th after starting on the soft tyres, and we saw Joe get a podium from 11th place in Austin, so I'm sure Victor will be hoping the same. As Chris gets past Joe, as I say that, he's now already into the points in the Ferrari.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be looking to make up for his disqualification. And look at that then, Victor running wide through turn 10. That braking zone catching him out here. And Chris has his eyes have lit up as we head now towards turn 11. Of course, DRS not enabled yet. Up the inside it goes, and now up to 9th place. He's a man on a mission.
There's a bit of a train forming already behind Lawrence. Jorrit and Westy have got away 2 seconds for gap, and you've got Scorpion, Nick, Lukey, Mata, White Fountain, and Chris will soon be on the back of that as well. Could expect to see DRS next time around being used. Lawrence could be a bit of a sitting duck, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can see Scorpion there trying a move up the inside of the final corner, and the door was closed there, but this has allowed Thompson to try and close in using that slipstream now, heading down towards turn 1. He looks to the right hand side. Is he going to go for the move? He's definitely looking at it. Scorpion did leave the door open for quite some time there, but Thompson just decided not to go for the move. Lukey there in 6th place, running behind Thompson. Mata there in 7th, and White Fountain in 8th there, as you can see. You can see how many cars this goes back to. Chris there in 9th, Victor 10th, Jaw in 11th, TK 12th, Nika 13th, Nick G 14th, and it's that whole train running from what looks like 3rd place all the way down to 14th.
Yeah, a brilliant racing once again. Pete, he's trying to recover from his connection issues. He's got himself up to 17th, just getting past Scanny. Ashahina, he'll be happy that he's managed to keep it clean. He won't be happy that he's not made any progress, but it's all about taking baby steps. He is on the soft tyres. He's just got to wait a couple of laps for the race to come towards him. Westy's trying as hard as possible at the other end of the field to get more than a second ahead. He's just managing it at the moment. He wants to make sure Jovi isn't able to use the DRS down this 1 kilometre main straight here in Bahrain.
Well, here we are then, riding on board with Mata. This is out of turn 13, looking to take advantage of Lukey as we head down towards turn 14 and 15. We're going to ride on board with Scorpion because this is his first real chance with the DRS, with some slipstream here, and he'll be waiting and using his DRS down the main straight now. DRS wide open now. Let's see how quickly that Red Bull can close on the Renault ahead of him down towards turn 1. You can see how much he's closing. Is it going to be enough though to have him move down towards turn 1? He's going to go for it. Late braking down towards turn 1. Over commits though. Lawrence takes that position straight back then, as Chris meanwhile, now he goes up the inside. It became the outside. Oh, that's White Fountain. I think Chris and White Fountain may have just touched slightly there, and that put White Fountain off. He's only lost a position to Victor, and he'll be mightily relieved about that one. But Chris went up the inside there. It was around the outside, I believe, at turn 2, and then they just made slight contact there. It put White Fountain's car off, but he's able to carry on with no damage whatsoever.
Yeah, lucky escape for both drivers. The other Ferrari, Luque, Mata tried it all the way around the outside into turn 1, but just wasn't able to do it. I think Lawrence did well there, just didn't over defend. He knew Scorpion had a lot more straight line speed, just got a better exit out the corner and was helped of course by Scorpion going extremely late on the brakes. So I'd imagine he'll try something different this time around, because he can only give that move a few goes before Lawrence will get wise to it.
Well, he's got to do everything in the book at the moment because Lawrence has stayed ahead of him for now. Meanwhile, what's interesting is Victor here, 9th place at the moment, obviously qualified in 11th place, was able to start on a fresh set of soft tyres. He runs in 9th place and is keeping good pace with the cars around him. Scorpion, meanwhile, looks a lot closer to the car ahead as Jorrit picks in from 2nd place. Only 4 laps on those tyres. Scorpion now moves to the right-hand side. Lawrence moves to the right-hand side as well to try and defend. They head now down towards turn 1. Can Scorpion find his braking zone this time around? He looks to try and cut off the apex at turn 2 and just try and park it. Lawrence here is having none of it. Heading around the outside at turn 3. They're going to be side by side now. No DRS up towards turn 4. The Red Bull on the inside, the Renault on the outside. Lawrence here having to try to go the long way round at turn 4 and Scorpion gets the move done. Round the outside at turn 4 and a good little scrap between those two, and Scorpion is now up to 2nd place.
Great move by Scorpion there. As I said, he didn't get it as deep on the brakes, was just able to hold off. Lawrence did well to come back at him though down the 2nd straight, but just didn't have enough pace, and I thought Lawrence was going to go into the back of Scorpion there, just avoided it. But Jovic, White Fountain and Nika all pitted onto a fresh set of soft tyres, I should say, sorry. So it'll be interesting to see what their pace is like compared to the front runners now.
Chris and Victor here going side by side through turn 11, now through turn 12. The Ferrari's going to be on the outside here. As look at that, Victor putting up a fight there on those soft tyres. He'll have the inside for turn 13, but Chris might have a better exit here as they now run down towards turn 14 and 15. Meanwhile, Thompson up ahead looking to put that pressure on Lawrence. Chris now up the inside at turn 14. He holds back to try and get that DRS. He has the inside line, briefly had that position there, but backs out of it, and it looks like he's going to come into the pits anyway. So that is lap 5 or 5 laps on those super soft tyres, I should say. Lawrence here looking for a move ahead of Scorpion once again, but no dice there. Lukey meanwhile has got away past Mata. He's now up to 3rd place. TK past Victor now. He's up to 5th, which you're now in 7th. But remember, Victor is on those soft tyres, so he'll probably be looking at a super soft stint at some point later on this race. Meanwhile, Pete here is battling away with Liam. He switches to the left, heading now towards turn 4. Round the outside he goes. That is Liam there on the soft tyres. They make a little bit of contact there. It's 3 wide as they head now down towards turn 5. And smartly, they get out of it there. It's now down to 2 wide as Liam and Niels battle down towards turn 8. You can see there, that's Asahina now trying to go around the outside. But it's... Oh, they made contact! And that is Niels in the wall. Asahina involved at the exit of turn 8 then. And it looks like Asahina caught the rear tyre of Niels and sent him straight into the wall. That is a badly damaged front wing. That's very minimal downforce on that car now. It might as well not be a front wing on that car anymore.
Yeah, Nails will definitely have to pit. Shame for him because he's on the soft tyres. He'll have wanted to go longer. Westy also pitted on that lap, and he's just getting held up a bit by Niels there. He definitely had to cover off the undercut from Jovic, who's now right behind him. Worked out well for White Fountain as well. He got ahead of Chris. I was surprised to see Chris pit as early as the others because he was on the fresh super soft tyres, of course. So perhaps paying for those pushes on the first few laps.
McLaren's battling down the main straight. Before that was TK, who sort of dummied his teammate and went into the pit lane. Virtual safety car deployed. Liam is out of this race. Now, where is that, I wonder? Is that in the pit lane? It's Scanny gets a 5-second stop go for a severe collision with Liam
on the
there.
start-finish straight. Liam's car's just...
It is, you're right. It is on the start-finish straight. That's bizarre there. Let's see if we can see. Yeah, Liam's car is just stranded in the middle of the racetrack down the start-finish straight. Well, that is bizarre. And a virtual safety car has been deployed, so the drivers are, well, supposedly doing the same pace, keeping to the same delta. But the VSC wasn't deployed for long. We're back under green flag racing. So Victor leads then. Jora's in second. Nick G in third. That's your top 3 so far. But the top 5 in this race at the moment have to stop again. Victor running wide on the entry in towards turn 10 as, well, he locked up there. He hasn't been the first this race, and I can tell you what, I guarantee you, he will not be the last. Thompson here, putting some pressure on Lukey. Down now towards turn 10 they go. Looks like they're both sort of understeered through the corner there as they're following each other. But Thompson has the DRS as we head now down towards turn 11. Will we have a look up the inside of the Ferrari? The only problem with turn 11 is it's not a good overtaking opportunity unless you're already running side by side with the car ahead.
Yeah, interesting to see a few drivers make pit stops under the VSC. White Fountain and Chris have now done their mandatory 2 stops and they're on the medium tyres. They keep them nice and steady. They should be able to go all the way to the end. Joe now pits from what was second position. It's going to be interesting to see what Chris can do on that strategy as well as White Fountain to see how he can work his way up the order. But it's a shame we didn't see the crash between Scanny and Liam. I can only imagine there was a bit of DRS and a bit of bumping involved as they tried to as one driver tried to defend from the other, but it's ended with Liam retiring from the race and Scanny getting a 5-second penalty, of course.
Battling going on here as they're 3 wide going up towards turn 4. That's Lawrence, Thompson and Lukey. Lawrence taking advantage of the 2 of them. Thompson and Lukey battling away, and he's up 2 positions in 1 corner. Fantastic opportunistic driving there from the Renault driver. He's now up to 8th place and leaves Thompson and Lukey to battle away for 9th place now. TK's behind them. Lukey now trying to go around the outside at turn 8, maybe trying to get a better exit on the run towards turns 9 and then through turn 10. As Lukey here locks up a little bit, has to commit down the inside, left is braking very late there. And, well, he's very lucky there not to run into the side pod of Thompson there. They both have DRS down towards turn 11. Just looked like Lukey there tried to leave his braking as late as he possibly could and maybe left his braking a little too late there.
We nearly saw a prancing horse mating with a Toro Rosso there.
That's an image I never thought I would imagine in this race, but there we go.
Pre-watershed, so we better be a bit careful. I'm not sure how they didn't make any contact.
You better be a bit more careful. I'm fine here. Lukey here making his way now down towards turns 14 and 15. He will have the DRS as Jorik there sets the fast lap of the race. He quickly beats off any opposition he had there. Running now down the walk towards the start finish straight now. Lukey has the DRS, moves to the right hand side, up the inside at turn 1. Can he try and make this move stick? He outbraked himself going into turn 10, but the car looks a lot more under control there, and that is TK making a late move up the inside of Thompson, catches his rear tyre, and then has to back out of it very, very quickly. It's one of those half-hearted moves where you think, I'll go for it anyway, and TK, again, having a look up the inside, nothing doing for him. Further up the field, though, you've now got Lawrence right on the back of Scorpion as they head through turn 6 and then through turn 7, down towards the braking zone at turn 8. And we'll see now if Lawrence can try and close in on Scorpion. As you say there, Chris is one of the only drivers there to complete his 2 stops on the medium tyres. He'll have about, well, those laps of the tyres will be 24 laps old by the end. And that is the Ferrari of Lukey once again getting turn 10 all wrong. He cannot seem to get that corner right at the moment, and now he's under pressure from Thompson once again as they head down towards turn 11. Toro Rosso has the inside line but backs out of it. Meanwhile, further ahead then, Westy gets ahead of Scanny here. That's for 4th place. running wide at turn 13, using all that curb and maybe a little bit more of the sand there as he runs now down towards turn 14. Looks like Scanny here is not looking. Is he looking to battle these cars? I wonder. He's on 8-lap-old soft tyres. He had to pit in, of course, but he'll try and keep his head down. See what he can do. Joret has the DRS as we head down towards turn 1. Meanwhile, Lawrence on the same straight, looking for a way past Scorpion. He's looking up the inside at turn 1. Can he try and make that move stick? You've also got something happening in the background. That's Lukey and Thompson as well. Oh, that's TK making huge contact with the Ferrari behind. You could hear that contact from a mile away. TK then moves up a position. He's up to 9th now. And I think Lukey will have some stern words for TK after that one. In fact, TK moves over again and lets them both back through. Does TK have damage to that car then? I'm not sure he does. Or if he doesn't have damage, maybe we can't see it.
He did try the lap before we just mentioned, he braked extremely late. I mean, just tried a lunge there, but obviously Luke is trying to get past Thompson as well, and the gap just closed. I'm not sure there ever really was a big enough gap there. You'd have to rely on some very compliant driving from the other two. Some news from the crash with Liam and Scanny. Liam admitting that it was his fault, said he just squeezed him too much and then ended up just clipping him and spinning into the wall. So maybe Scanny will be a bit aggrieved that he's got a penalty for that, and with it being a stop-go penalty, of course, he will have to serve it in the pits, so will not be able to appeal it, even though Liam has admitted that he believes it was his fault.
But it may not be the end of the story in the steward's office, of course. Now, Scanny will have that penalty. He won't be able to appeal it, or maybe he'll at least try to, but that doesn't mean the penalty is going to end there. I can see that going to the steward's office for sure. But let's have a look here. Lukey, Thompson and TK. Round 3 as we head down towards turn 1 once again. This time Thompson on the attack here. Looks to go up the inside of Lukey, but the door doesn't seem to be quite open for him. Now heading through turns 2 and then through turn 3. Still in the slipstream. Lukey looking to defend up towards turn 4. And Thompson looking for a way to try and get past the Ferrari. He tries around the outside of 4. Now tries to use a cutback here to try and go side by side through turn 5, and surely he's not going to try it through there. No, he doesn't. He stays back, and like I said, on the formation that he expects to be single file through there for most of the race. Meanwhile then, Westy is right behind Asahina as we head through turn 10. Of course, this is for position, but Asahina here might be hasn't actually stopped yet, so if he's going to battle, I wonder, down towards turn 11, he will actually stick his car on the inside there, so he's not going to let that position go completely as they head through turn 11. Now coming through turn 12, Westy has the inside line and he gets the move done then, but Asahina then in no mood to let people through. He's going to battle them.
Well, within his rights, so he's fighting for position. No blue flags. Got to be a bit careful. You don't want to ruin your own race or someone else's race when you're on a different strategy and battling too hard. Joey gets a bit sideways in the background. TK just doesn't seem to be able to get close enough around the final corner, moving back to the battle with Lukey and Thompson and TK, to get a good enough run down the straight, and I think that's why he's having to just try and brake as late as possible just to keep on terms with them.
Thompson had a look down the inside of Lukey there, but again, no doing there. Just like you say, the Ferrari's doing just enough to keep ahead down the straight. As we head now towards turn 4. It is lap 12 of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Victor leads from Westy. It's currently a Haas 1-2, but Victor is yet to make his first pit stop of the race. Of course, they have to make 2 stops in the race. That is a mandatory stop. Asahina then 3rd. Joret in 4th as we see him right behind the Sauber as we head through turns 9 and then through turn 10 there. Joret's got to be careful not to lock up, not to overcommit then. We've also got Lukey and Thompson then still battling away as they both head down towards turn 10 now, and with TK right behind them as well. All that's doing is it's allowing Scorpion to get ahead. Yellow flags in sector 1, and that is Niels there, who is around. He's gone onto the sand there and into the gravel. Now that is out of turn 3, so the four-cylinder driver now all the way down the field. Joret meanwhile still right on the tail of the Sauber then as we head with him down towards turns 14 and 15. We will have DRS on the Sauber, and there's the line. That's that detection point. The activation point is further down the start-finish straight. You can see the line there, and Joret's going to use every bit of slipstream he can as Asahina comes into the pits. That then gives us a chance to rejoin this battle between Lukey, Thompson and TK for 8th place, and we'll soon go up to 6th, maybe even 5th then, as we've got cars into the pits then. There's Thompson there, looking for a way past. Oh, he gets it wrong, down in towards turn 1, clips the back of the Ferrari then. Has he got damage on the left-hand side of that front wing? Looks okay.
Didn't see any carbon fibre fly off, but that's allowed TK to catch up as well, of course. Now he's right behind this battle. A lucky escape for both Lukey and Thompson there.
Well, Nika then making up a position. He's now up to 9th place. Huge fan favourite here in Bahrain, apparently. As we now head down towards turn 8, he's ahead of Jaw now. His next target is TK, 5.1 seconds up the road. As Lukey here is trying to defend 6th place here from 2 drivers who are eager to get past. Battle for 14th place, Scani and White Fountain. Scani on a fresh set of soft tyres, White Fountain on 6-lap-old medium tyres. Yellow flags in Sector 1, and Niels has retired from the Bahrain Grand Prix. So lap 13 has claimed another car, so he'll be joining Liam on the sidelines as he will not be able to finish this race. And lap 13, Victor leads from Westy and Jorrit. That's your top 3 so far.
Yeah, Victor just coming into the pits now. I wonder if he saw the Niels crashed and was hoping for a safety car, which would have been a big help for his race, but his teammate takes the lead. Westy did get a big favour off Ashahina as well. Jorrit was less than a second behind him before they started catching up to the traffic, but he's now stretched it to 2.5 seconds, and Lawrence seems to be doing a lot better in this stint than he was on the Super Softs earlier on.
A little bit cagey out of turn 2 and 3 then. Thompson got the move done, and then Lukey tried another move and sort of caught the gearbox then, unsettled the Toro Rosso. He backed out of the move, the Ferrari. TK then almost hesitated to overtake and stayed behind them both then. Meanwhile, Jaw up the inside at turn 4 on Nika, as they both now head out of turn 4. Nika getting a little bit sideways then on the exit, then through turns 5, 6 and then through 7 there. He's looking for a way past that McLaren as we head now down towards turn 8. Stays behind him now into the braking zone, and will look for the DRS zone towards turn 11 to try a move. Won't necessarily come off because it's quite an awkward angle. You've really got to have a great exit off of turn 10, and the person you're chasing has got to have a horrible one. As we see, that's a Haas going off in the background. That is Victor, who's rejoined on a set of medium tyres. So medium tyres to me suggests that he's only planning to do 1 stop, but he's got to do more than that.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to pit as late as possible, just try and set the fastest lap, or maybe he is hoping for the safety car later on. He will have the option, of course, to pit fairly late, shouldn't lose too much time on those tyres, but definitely seems a strange one, as does Jorrit pitting only 10 laps on those tyres. He's gone onto the mediums as well until the end of the race now.
I wonder if these medium tyres are proving to be the better race tyre, as Thompson then heads down towards turn 1, defending from Lukey. Defending both lines, but runs a little bit wide out of turn 2 and then through turn 3. Ferrari says thank you very much, I'll take that position back, and he now goes up to 4th place. Meanwhile, it's huge battling between Jaw and Nika at the moment. We're having to focus on about 3 different battles all at once here, as that's Pete in the background, who's all the way around at turn 3. He's into the gravel, and it's just going from bad to worse for the Williams driver. And, well, connection issues. If it's not that, it's him spinning out on track. We didn't see what caused it, though. But Pete now down in 13th place. Hugely disappointing for the Williams driver.
I think it was just, as we've seen happen before in this race, just a bit too much power on the exit of that corner. So easy to do. Just brings the rears round. His tyres will have definitely seen better days. Just got to calm it down now. They'll be overheated after that spin. Just doesn't want to let it affect him too much and cost him any further places. Locking up quite a bit now. But he's still 13th place, still got a chance. You never know what might happen. Yeah, Lukey, Thompson and TK seem to be stuck in this position so far. Like, Lukey just seems to be able to hold onto the place yet again, and TK not able to get as close as Nick is.
Yeah, TK's fallen away out of DRS range. He's 1.2 seconds behind Thompson now, so that will help the front two there in this train. Just sort of try and get away a little bit. We've also got Nika and Nick G battling now down the straight towards turn 1. They're side by side. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? That'll put him on the outside for turn 2. Nika's going to try and hold that inside line, and then Nick G's going to try the switch back round the outside at turn 3. Didn't quite work the way he wanted it to. Got a little bit out of shape at turn 2, but now he's going to go up the inside at turn 4 is Nick G. Tries to go up the inside. Nika tries the cut back, but can't quite make it stick. Then Nick G then up to 8th place in that Mercedes. And as you can see there, you're seeing on the right hand side of the gap between the next car the amount of stops each driver has made. Now Jorrit, White Fountain, Chris and Pete have now all made their 2 mandatory stops, so everybody else now has just 1 stop to make in this race. But as we've seen some drivers emerge on medium tyres as if they're going to go to the end of the race.
Yeah, Victor, the one with really interesting keeping an eye on, because he's gone for a very conventional 1-stop strategy here. We're starting to get into the region, for those who haven't pitted yet, where they could come out onto the soft tyres, so they definitely have more grip earlier on in the stint. It's just whether they could get them to last to the end. So I wouldn't surprise to see Jovic catching Westy in the final few laps of this race. All that battling between Nick and Nika, of course, that's just allowed Joe to escape slightly, give him a bit of respite in what is now 5th place, as Thompson and TK have both pitted.
Now you're probably seeing on Victor's car, you might see the red wall tyres appear out of nowhere. However, we can confirm that he is on the white wall medium tyres, as shown in the telemetry. That's the one to go by, not anything else. He currently runs in 7th place then, 8/10 of a second behind Nick G ahead of him. And the field, well, we can say is rather spread out at the moment. That's, I think it's been the most spread out it's been the entire race. White Fountain then on the medium tyres, trying to chase down Thompson, who's just emerged on fresh, soft tyres down towards turn 4. White Fountain maybe looking to try and take advantage of those maybe colder tyres as we head through turn 5, through 6 and then through 7. He hasn't quite made that move stick the way he wanted it to. But meanwhile then, Joe up ahead in 5th place, Nichi in 6th, Victor 7th, with Asahina in 8th. As White Fountain there is now less than 2/10 behind Thompson as we head now down through turn 10. White Fountain will have the DRS, and this will be the battle for the final point as it stands. In the DRS zone he goes, now towards turn 11. You can see he's just slightly too far back to have a go, but he's got a lot more grip than Thompson has at the moment through 11. And then through 12 here, he'll go around the outside and then it'll cut him back to the inside of turn 13 to try and get him a better entry into 13, help him carry more speed. At the moment here, White Fountain's medium tyres seem to be doing a really good job at the moment.
Yeah, we compared onto them extremely early, lap 8, during that virtual safety car period. Interesting to see TK, he's lost a lot of time in the pit stops there. He must have had either a penalty or some sort of damage that necessitated a front wing change, because he's gone from being behind Thompson to behind Nika, down in 14th place at the moment. We've seen Westy and Joe pit from further up the field, so that's put Lukey in the lead for now, and Westy is on those soft tyres, 3 seconds ahead of Jovic. Jovic will be hoping that the Haas starts struggling with his rubber at the end of the race.
Well, we have 12 laps to go, 11 and a bit if you're picky. Lukey leads from Nick G, Victor in 3rd, Asahina 4th, Westy then in 5th, who we believe, in fact, as we know it's a matter of fact, is the first of the drivers to make their 2 stops in the race. So effectively, Westy at the moment is your race leader. It's about 11 seconds between Lukey and Westy at the moment. Maybe a little bit more than that, looking at all the maths there, but maths was never my forte. I just see the big number and go, yeah, that's what it is.
The only maths the drivers are bothered about at the moment is making sure they're going faster than everyone else. Lukey, he's coming into the pits now, he'll be making his 2nd stop. Ashahina, he's closing in on Victor in the DRS now. Ashahina on those super soft tyres should have a lot more grip at this stage in the race and easily able to brake later. The Haas trying the cutback as Pete retires from the session.
He's lost it at turn 11. He's gone all the way around, lost the back end maybe. Don't know the full story though, but it is at turn 11 and he's gone all the way off on the right hand side, so not able to slow the car down enough to hit the wall at the wrong angle and lose a tyre. But that is Pete's race all done then. On lap 19 of the Bahrain Grand Prix, we have 11 laps to go. Nick G leads from Asahina and Victor in third. This is this battle you're watching right here, but the more these three battle, the more time they're going to lose. So do they work together here? They're all on different tyres. Nick G's on softs, Asahina on super softs, Victor on mediums. They're all around the same age of tyres. So what do they do?
I think they're all just fighting. They're all in their own separate race. They're not really thinking about the race victory. If I was Victor, I'd just be patient, because with the tyre life that Nick and Asahina have at the moment, he should probably just not quite have the same level of grip of them at the moment. And Westy, before he gets round to him, he does not want to get involved in any four-way battles for the race lead, because it can so easily go wrong. We saw Liam and Scanny get together earlier on in the race. Pit stop period worked out well for Thompson though. He's now 2 seconds ahead of Lukey.
Asahina here up the inside at turn 2, running side by side the Mercedes and the Sauber. Asahina couldn't quite get the move done, and look at Victor here looking to take advantage. Asahina now up the inside at turn 4, can't quite make the move stick. Look out for the Haas in the background. Surely it's not going to be 3 wide down towards turn 5. No, it's all single file once again as Nick G holds on with 10 laps to go. Of course, those front 3 have to make another pit stop in this race, and I'm sure their engineers will be going over the radio and repeating that phrase every single sector. You have to stop one more time. But Nick G leads then, Asahina second, Victor in third. Westy, the first of the 2 stoppers, is in your picture now. Now, will Victor move aside for his teammate? And even if he does that help him in the grand scheme of things? He'll still have a Sauber and a Mercedes to deal with.
Yeah, I imagine Westy will be pretty happy at the moment that he's far enough behind Victor that the dirty air won't have an effect, but close enough that he'll get the DRS on the straights. But I imagine if Westy is in communication with Victor, he will definitely be reminding him of the fact that he's pitted twice and is the current championship leader. Interesting behind, with Lawrence being on the soft tyres, he has closed right up behind Jovic, so we could see a change for net second position very shortly.
Nick G then starts lap 21 in the lead. Meanwhile, Victor going for a move here, using the slipstream of Asahina. Down towards turn 1 we go. He's up the inside. It'll become the outside for turn 2 if he's not careful. He mounts the curb, as does Westy behind, and that'll be at least a warning for them. But Victor gets up the inside and makes the move stick. Meanwhile, Lawrence and Jorrit running side by side, and Lawrence has done it. Lawrence is past Jorrit then. Through turns 2 and 3 on those soft tyres. He looks like he's got the pace there. Meanwhile, Scorpion and Thompson now running side by side up towards turn 4. Scorpion up the inside here. Thompson around the outside. Who's going to get the better exit? Scorpion taps the side pod of Thompson then as they run through turn 5, then through 6 and 7. Looks like Thompson's just about held on here, and he makes the move for P7. Asahina, meanwhile, is now under extreme pressure from Westy, and all this is doing for Westy is losing him time. Lawrence there, 4 seconds back. Westy will be trying to make these moves as quickly as possibly can. Up the inside of Asahina, down towards turn 11, and that looks like it's 1 move down, 2 to go, as he makes his way through turn 12 now and on towards the braking zone of turn 13. Scorpion here looking at Thompson, trying to move up the inside, or at least thought about it, but locked up and had to back out of it. So, well, Nick G, Victor and Asahina, we keep saying this, Luke, but they have to stop one more time. There's no other option for them. If they don't stop one more time, they'll have to serve a disqualification in the race.
Nick and Asahina are going to have no choice just because of tyre life. Asahina coming in as I say that, so he'll be going onto the super softs once again if he has a fresh set. Same with Nick, but I'm still not sure what Victor's trying with this strategy here. Is he just going to pit as late as possible and go onto the super soft, or maybe, as you mentioned, he just felt more confident on the medium tyres? We've seen quite a few, White Fountain and Chris especially, they're going for very long runs on that medium tyre. Jorrit's gone for it as well, but it doesn't seem to be working out for him. He was fairly close to Westy before the pit stops, and now he's struggling to keep within DRS range of Lawrence.
Unless Victor's trying a strategy a la Mark Webber and pitting as late as he can to go on a fresh set of tyres. Remember, you can't pit on the final lap of the race. if you're coming onto the start-finish straight and you would be taking the final lap, you cannot stop. It has to be, they have to pit on lap, 27, because then they'll clock over to 28, and that will be at least one racing lap. So if he doesn't pit on lap 27, Victor here is going to be disqualified from the race.
I imagine Wesley's thinking here that he gets disqualified pretty soon, because he's just held him up all the way through the start of sector 3. The gap between Wesley and Lawrence is now less than 5 seconds all of a sudden, and Victor does then move out of the way, realising that this is not his battle. He looks to be heading towards the pit lane, as does Nick as well, so they're both going to the super softs. Be interested to see what them and Ashahina can do towards the end of the race, because they'll be on by far better tyres than everyone else. They could be the ones to watch at the end. They've got a good chance of getting some points here. Jaws only about 4 seconds ahead of Ashahina at the moment.
Scanney lost the car at turn 3 and found himself spun all the way around. In fact, that's not turn 3, that was turn 13 that Scanney lost it at. And look at that, his tyres are so worn out there, and he's got himself a 5-second stop go for speeding in the pit lane. Meanwhile, it's a massive battle here. Nick G has just rejoined in front of TK in 9th place. Meanwhile, Victor's rejoined in 13th place. So literally, positions out on track then. One position is all they needed for Nick G to get ahead. But look at Asahina, look at this. Now he's going side by side through turn 5, then through turn 6. TK has to steer out of the corner then to let the Sauber go through. So coming down towards turn 8 then, Asahina making it perfectly clear he wants that position. Meanwhile then, Nika and Victor battling for position then. Victor on a fresh set of super soft tyres, running now side by side through turn 10 they go. And now on the exit then, who's going to have the better traction at the moment? Well, Nika will have statistically worse traction. He's on 6-lap older tyres and soft tyres at that. And look at that then, Victor gets the move done up the inside of turn 11, makes that move stick. Meanwhile, Scorpion now round the outside of turn 14. Can he make this move stick then? He's battling away with Thompson, running on board with Lukey. Can he take advantage now as we head towards turn 1 here? Lukey has the DRS open. He'll try now a move on Scorpion, but he hasn't got any slipstream ahead of him. That's not going to help him against Scorpion. It's helping him against Thompson nonetheless. Heading now down towards turn 1. He's up the inside of the Red Bull. Catches that curb then, and will now have to go a long way round around turn 2. Scorpion parks it on the exit. They make contact then, and Scorpion loses the car just a little bit then. I wonder here, Lukey gets the position then. Scorpion down to 6th place. Did they make contact there?
I think if they did, it was extremely light. We know that netcode can be a bit awkward on this game at times. One person who definitely made contact was Scanney. He slammed it into the wall at turn 3, and he's struggling all over the place just after coming out of the pits. We've seen him get a 10-second time penalty. I think he's done already those super soft tyres. It's probably lit up the rears early on, burned through them already, and driving around with no front wing. It's a bit of a race to forget for him at the moment.
Scorpion still now in the DRS zone as we head down towards turn 11, and looking to try and find a way past Lukey ahead of him. Looking at all the stops then, everyone who is racing at the moment has made 2 stops, so everybody has done the mandatory thing, so no disqualifications, at least from the stops, that is. We obviously did see a disqualification last time round for Chris. He currently runs in 14th place, and what was a fantastic start from last time around. Tried that 2-stop early on, trying to make the medium tyres last to the end. He runs in 14th place at the moment. So for Chris then, maybe it wasn't the greatest strategy in the world, but he had to try it. He thought he might try it. If he did the same as anybody else, though, he might have been in the points.
Yeah, although to be fair for White Fountain, he's tried the same strategy. He's currently up in the 7th place at the moment. So clearly worked out for one car. Maybe Chris just a bit too far back to give it a go. Ashahina and Nick G battling all the way through turn 1 and 2 over the final points positions. Victor, he's ready to pick up the pieces if anything goes wrong there as well. And while these are battling, they're trying to catch up to Jaw as well. They've got the additional grip, of course. One of these guys could end up finishing in 8th place and perhaps even catch White Fountain, because his tyres will be well past their best in these final 4 laps.
Asahina here looks like the person to do it. He's only a second behind, but of course Nick G and Victor here are on exactly the same age tyres. There's Scanny just on the left hand side of your screen. They're getting well out of the way. That's what's caused the yellow flag at sector 2. Is just Scanny in the Force India getting out of the way, and of course that would have lasted down towards turn 11 only for a short while, but it meant that maybe the Mercedes couldn't actually overtake at that point in time. Oh, he's lost it! Nick G's around! At turn 12, the rear tyres said no more, and he finds himself into the wall, lost a chunk of front wing. He'll be absolutely devastated.
If you ever wanted to see a demonstration of how dirty air affects a Formula 1 car, there you had it. Just lost all downforce. So close behind Ashahina, and tyres just couldn't cope with it. They might be fresh, they might be the grippiest tyres available, but his chance of getting any points have gone out the window.
But back on board then with Lukey. Battle for 4th place between himself and Thompson. So we have yellow flags in sector 3. I believe that's for a lapped car at the moment, but there you can see Thompson defending from Lukey. Scorpion as well is now coming back. Meanwhile, Jaw, Asahina and Victor now all battling for 8th place. So these cars battling for 8th place at the moment are down 1 car because of Nick G spinning the car around just on the exit of turn 12. Asahida though looks like the prime candidate now to try and make a move on Jaw. Now heading along the straight towards turn 11, along the back straight. He's in the slipstream. Looks like he's got a really good exit. Jaw moves to the inside. Asahina will have to go the long way around at turn 11. Can he make this move stick? Yes, he can. Asahina round the outside. And I think Jaw there just broke a little bit earlier then. But look at this now. Victor now trying out the inside at turn 12. That's not a place where you could overtake whatsoever. He still made it. Oh, still tried it though. Couldn't quite find the gap. And Victor now finds himself again behind Jaw. And he will have lost himself time to Asahina as well, as we head on to the closing stages of this Bahrain Grand Prix. Lukey, meanwhile, making a move for 4th place down the straight, down towards turn 1. He's got the inside line then, and Thompson then concedes 4th place for now, drops to 5th place, and looks to focus on his line through turns 2 and 3. Now he's in the slipstream of Lukey, up towards turn 4. Will he get a chance to have a go back towards turn 4? He's looking around the outside, but will try a cut back instead. And meanwhile, Jaw's lost it! Was there contact between himself and Asahina there? Out of turn 3, Jaws into the gravel there. Luke, did you see anything?
I didn't see any contact now, but that's given Victor a chance to try and get past Ashahina as well. I think Jaws just got he was on so less grippier tyres, and Victor's got himself a 5-second stop-go penalty there for corner cutting. So I think his chances of finishing 9th have gone as well, and maybe if TK can stay close enough, he could get promoted a position here, because Victor, that penalty will of course be added to his time at the end of the race.
Well, Nick G has retired from the Bahrain Grand Prix. Here comes the 4th retirement on lap number 27. It wasn't long to go towards the end, but I reckon all that motivation of finishing well was sapped out of his tyres and him at turn 12. Lap 27 then, Westy leads from Lawrence and Jorrit. That's your top 3 so far. Asahina then looking to try and stay ahead of Victor here as they head through turn 13 on the run towards turn 14. Lap 28, only 2 laps to go here in Bahrain, here in the precision tier. Not long to go then for Scorpion to try and find a way past Thompson. Thompson, Lukey, Scorpion. It seems like they've been battling all race long. No matter what the strategy, no matter what tyres they're on, they've always found each other out on the racetrack. And at the moment, Lukey in 4th, Thompson 5th, Scorpion in 6th. We've got the battle for 8th place here as Victor now trying to go round the outside at turn 1. They'll try and cut back, will he, in towards turn 2 to try and get a better run through turn 3. And you can see then on towards that straight towards turn 4, up the inside. You can see those marbles gathering on his tyres then, so the brake distance will increase slightly. There'll be less grip through the corners for him as we head through turn 5 now. Asahina is able to hold on to the position for now then. Lukey still under that pressure from Thompson and Scorpion. Remember, Lukey is a champion of One Hub. He is looking to try and defend. He is looking to try and score as many points as he possibly can, not only for himself, but for Ferrari as well. Chris then sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:28.9. He's pitted in and thought, you know what, I'm going to set fastest lap. No one can stop me. And to be fair, 1:28 looks like no one will be able to stop him. Nobody seems to be willing to try and go for a fastest lap because they're all really trying to battle for position at the moment. It only seems to be Chris Mata, who's not in the game at the moment, and neither is Scanny. So yeah, Chris here is the only one who's really going to go for it.
It's the only one who hasn't got anything to lose really for going for it. He's got to keep it nice and easy. But he'll have had a better race than last time, of course, involved in a lot less incidents, but he'll be disappointed that he didn't make any progress, especially after such a promising start to the race. And Ashahina and Victor are catching up to White Fountain, whose medium tyres I think have definitely given up the ghost now. We could see a three-way battle for 7th place all of a sudden here as Victor dives down the inside into turn 1. He's got the move done, and Ashahina not able to get the cutback. He'll have the slipstream down the straight. Victor, is he going to have to go defensive? I think Ashahina's just a bit too far behind, so a decisive move there from Victor.
Well, we're seeing Wester here coming through turn 10, and it hasn't been easy for him, heading now down towards turn 11, but I tell you what, he'll be very, very happy to get points on his rivals. He came into this race with a win and a 2nd place to put him at 43 points in the driver's standings. It looks like here he's going to extend that gap. Jorrit in 3rd place, well, he's going to gain a couple of points on him, that's for sure. 10 points to be exact. That gap's going to go up to 24 points. He's going to gain 7 points on White Fountain. So that gap's going to go to 22 points. So as it stands then, White Fountain could jump up a position. But Westy here comes around the final corner. He'll weave his way to the checkered flag. Westy wins in Bahrain as the fireworks fill the night sky. Lawrence finishes in 2nd place here. And that is a fantastic performance from him. He was 9th place in the championship. A nice 18 points will help him very much so. Jorrit finishes in 3rd, Nick Thompson in 4th, Scorpion there in 5th with Lukey coming across the line in 6th. So those penalties did harm him in the end. Victor and Asahina are going to battle towards the line here, and that looks like, yes, it's Asahina 8th, TK 9th, Victor drops down to 10th there, but he drops down to 11th as Nika, the fan favourite, gets up to 10th place and scores a point here in the Precision Tier. Who saw that coming? The fan boost worked for Nika. He finishes and gets a single point to his name then, so that's a good result for him. And you can see there, Westy will be enjoying this one. It's his 2nd win of the season as you just wait for Chris now to finish in 13th. No doubt he'll take that fastest lap of the race with him. It was a 1:28.8, I believe, on those super soft tyres. He thought he had nothing left to lose. What a race it could have been for Chris. Decided to go for the strategy, the same strategy as White Fountain, which got him 7th place. But it just wasn't quite Chris's day. And that qualifying ban really did hurt him in the end. But win number 2 of the season for Westy here in the Precision Tier.
Yeah, great drive once again from Westy. Got a bit excited at the end of the race there between White Fountain, Ashahina and Haas. White Fountain's tyres have just given up. He lost 2 places in the final 2 corners, but thankfully for him at least, penalties meant he maintained that 7th place. We see Westy on the podium there celebrating his 2nd win of the season, and somehow after all that excitement, the front 3 finishing the exact same order that they started.
Incredible stuff then, and well, Wesley will be happy with that, extending his championship lead over Jorrit, who finished in 3rd place then. Lawrence will have got 20 or 15 points. Was that 15 or 18 points? It's 18 points, isn't it? So he goes up to 23 points scored in the season. Nika then with the 1 point after a tough race for him will go up to 25 points. But there are the race results then. The official, unofficial results for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Westy wins the race. Lawrence in 2nd, Jorrit 3rd, Thompson 4th, Scorpion 5th with Lukey 6th, White Fountain 7th, Asahina in 8th, TK 9th with Nika rounding out the top 10. It's Victor in 11th, Jor in 12th, Chris in 13th. Non-finishers Mata, Scanny, Nick G, Pete, Niels and Liam. Well, what a race that was, Luke. Bahrain always throws a spanner into the works. It's one of my favourite tracks on the calendar, and I hope now, Luke, it's one of your favourites.
Yeah, definitely. It was good to see the different strategies playing at work there. Worked out well for Westy, of course, winning the race. Worked out well for Lawrence because he didn't have a great start to the race. He seemed to be holding everyone up in the early laps, but recovered to get 2nd position. And of course, there was Ashahina and Victor fighting their way through the field at the end. Who would you say your driver of the day was, Kieran?
Well, this is going to be a tough one. So many drivers had so many good races. I think my one is going to go to Lawrence. As you say, he had a tough start to the race. It seemed like he was struggling for pace, but he managed to recover, and a second place. That's his first podium of the season. He'll be very, very happy with that. He gets my driver of the day vote.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to be traditional, go for the race winner. I think West is just, once again, he's done everything you've asked of him. We've hardly had to watch him on the stream, apart from when he was catching up to the three who hadn't pitted towards the end of the race, because he just seems to quietly get on with his job. Got a fantastic start. Of course, helped of course by Lawrence's bad start. What more can you ask of him? Pole position and a win and a sizable lead in the championship with 5 races to go.
Absolutely. Hopefully you've enjoyed the race tonight. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time One Hub Racing goes live. Make sure you now tune into the Pinnacle Tier. Head over there. Their qualifying is underway, and they'll be looking for their turn in the Bahrain Grand Prix. Of course, it matters now because every single constructor point counts across all 4 tiers. So go over there, give your team the love and support. Make sure you follow One Hub Racing on Twitter. It's at One Hub Racing. Make sure you also follow Next Level Racing on Twitter at Next LVL Racing. You can follow me on Twitter whilst you're there if you like. It's at KSMCGF1, and you can follow Luke there as well.
Yes, it's at Luke Etheridge 95.
Yes, next time around we head to the Chinese Grand Prix, so I hope you can join us for then. Until then, I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been Luke Etheridge.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.